Over 2,300 people confirmed dead following flash floods in Libya, with many more people still missing.
Remote villagers appeal for help after Morocco's earthquake destroyed homes. More than 2,800 people died, with the toll expected to rise.
Over 2,300 people are now confirmed to have died as a result of flooding in Libya. Officials say 7,000 have been injured and thousands more are missing following torrential rains. The worst affected area is the city of Derna, where 2 dams burst. The Red Crescent said its workers are struggling to cope with the scale of the disaster.
The challenges are ranging between access to basic health facilities or health services, shelter and shelter management, food and non-food items, first aid, psychosocial support, and restoring family links as well. Last but not least, management of the dead bodies.
The extreme flooding followed heavy downpours brought by Storm Daniel to the east of the country. Across the region, towns and villages were inundated. Authorities say entire neighbourhoods were washed away. The Red Crescent has appealed for international assistance and says the devastation is on a similar level to the earthquake in neighbouring Morocco.
The extent of the devastation is becoming apparent as remote villages are reached by the outside world. With many small communities flattened, survivors are either burying their relatives or working to clear debris to recover more bodies. In this mountain village of Imi Ntala, at least 70 people are dead. Friday's earthquake, the strongest in Morocco in more than a century, killed more than 2,800 people. And survivors are demanding help, and quickly.
محقورين احنا وصافي داكشي اللي نقول ما لحقنا حتى واحد بغينا حنا السكنه بغينا فين يسكنوا هاد الناس مساكن اللي بينا داكشي اللي كاين
تيحفروا الناس ديال الدوار والناس اللي الشباب ديال الدوار والناس الكبار والناس اللي جايين من دواور بعاد شي شويه تعاونوا معاهم وتيحفروا غير بالمعدات الادويه.
The UN has been assessing the impact of the disaster on some of the most vulnerable, the children. UNICEF estimates that 100,000 of them have been affected. Like all major earthquakes, aftershocks are likely to continue in the days and weeks ahead, putting children and families at further risk. Morocco's government is under pressure to accept more international aid as rescuers battle with exhaustion. So far, it's accepted help from only 4 countries, Spain, the UK, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. But the United States, Tunisia, Turkey, Taiwan and France, a former colonial power of Morocco, are some of the nations which are also offering support.
North Korea's leader has arrived in Russia on the famous armored train used by his family for decades on very rare visits abroad. According to Washington, the objective of the trip is to close an arms agreement that will allow Russia to have the ammunition it needs for the war in Ukraine and North Korea to have economic aid and military technology. The meeting between Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un will take place in the coming days, according to the Kremlin. Russia needs North Korean ammunition to keep an eye on Ukraine, which receives a constant flow of weapons from the West.
Вот поменяло это до сих пор. Вот они уже давно, англичане поставляют эти снаряды. Поменяло это что-нибудь на поле боя? Нет. Вот они собираются F-16 поставлять. Поменяет это? Нет. Это просто затягивает конфликт.
Kim Jong-un is also seeking to strengthen ties with Beijing. China assured that the two countries are looking to deepen exchanges and cooperation in various fields.
More than 250,000 Russians have voluntarily joined the armed forces in recent months. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Tuesday, claiming 1,000 to 1,500 Russians were signing voluntary contracts to join military every day. How many Russian troops are currently in Ukraine? Ukrainian main intelligence directorate spokesperson Major General Vadim Skibitsky stated that the Russian military has concentrated over 420,000 military personnel in occupied Ukraine. That does not include Rosgvardia, Russian National Guard, and other military units and structures. Thus, this number does not fully reflect Russia's total forces involved in the war in Ukraine. Ukrainian and UK military officials reported on the 11th of September that there could be more coming. The UK Ministry of Defence reported that the Russian military intends to recruit 420,000 contract personnel by the end of 2023. The Institute for the Study of War has previously assessed that this number likely includes many volunteers who are already fighting in Ukraine and who were forced to sign contracts with the Russian Ministry of Defence by the 1st of July this summer. The UK Defence Ministry says in the run-up to the Russian presidential election scheduled for March 2024, Russian authorities will likely seek to avoid further unpopular mobilizations.
Serbian police have arrested dozens of people following a shootout between migrants that left 1 dead and 3 injured. The shooting took place in the Hajdakovac forest near the Hungarian border. Officers from the regional police and gendarmerie made a number of arrests and seized several rifles. 2 migrants have gunshot wounds while the third has head injuries. All of them were taken to a hospital for treatment, and according to Serbian authorities, their lives are not in danger. Luis Rubiales will have to appear before a judge next Friday. The judge of the Spanish National Court has summoned the former president of the Royal Spanish Football Federation to testify as a defendant. A case has been opened against him for sexual assault after the kiss he gave to the footballer Jenny Hermosa following the World Cup final. The judge accepted the complaint filed by the prosecutor's office for the non-consensual kiss and for the pressure the player received to justify the episode publicly.
Our single market.
As every year, the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, will deliver her State of the European Union speech. On Wednesday, she will explain what has been done during the last year and also highlight the biggest tasks of the upcoming months.
Ursula von der Leyen prepares her to-do list for the final year of the mandate of this European Commission, probably packed with policy proposals and geopolitical statements. Euronews correspondents went on the streets of different EU capitals to see how people feel about the European project, because at the end this is all about citizens.
We asked people on the streets of Athens, Dublin, Rome, Budapest, Madrid, Berlin and Vienna to see what they think the EU should focus on in the coming year.
I think are very important and European Union should focus on. It would be definitely climate change and disinformation or combating the disinformation.
Creo que lo más importante es atender a lo que estamos haciendo mal en el Mediterráneo, lo que estamos dejando morir, que algún día cuando pase el tiempo la historia nos avergonzará.
I would like to see also that the EU maybe work on mobility programs for seniors, to bring seniors in contact across the EU maybe, for like with a cheap train or flight tickets.
Το μεγαλύτερο πρόβλημα είναι η οικονομία. Εμείς γιατί να είμαστε μια πτωχευμένη οικονομία, τι φταίει αν πάρουμε την Ελλάδα, αλλά βλέπω ότι όλη η Ευρώπη περνάει από τις ίδιες καλένδες.
Auf Menschen, so wie sie alles nächstes Jahr und sofort auf irgendwas konzentrieren sollte. Ich meine, der Mensch hat überhaupt keine Bedeutung mehr.
Miért nem lehet békét kötni, ahogy a Ferenc pápa meg az Orbán Viktor szeretné?
I think the European Commission needs to be very proactive on both fronts. I mean, the inflation level is at crisis point, as we both know, and the migration is at even more than crisis point.
Promover cualquier medida que propicie la paz.
Kötelességét kéne teljesítse, hogyha adja, ami jár. Ő nem ad, ő csak vesz. Most is követel, hogy mit tudom, még 100 millióval vagy mennyivel járuljunk hozzá az Ukrajna támogatásához.
Getting new people to work in Europe, keeping Europe attractive.
Prinzipiell bin ich immer für die Förderung der Forschung, der Bildung, auch Ausbau der öffentlichen Infrastruktur. Ja.
Vorrei un'Europa più indipendente, politicamente più indipendente, più pacifista, d'avanguardia dal punto di vista culturale come lo è sempre stata nella nostra storia.
French international Paul Pogba has been provisionally suspended from playing following a drug test that revealed elevated levels of testosterone in his system. The testing occurred after Juve's 3-0 victory against Udinese on August the 20th. This incident adds to the challenges faced by the 30-year-old since his return to Turin in July 2022. He has grappled with persistent injury issues, whilst his personal life has seen its share of difficulties, with ongoing investigations into allegations of extortion involving his older brother. Pogba's agent Rafaela Pimenta has said that they are awaiting the results of the second sample before forming an opinion on the matter. If the former Manchester United player is found guilty of doping, he could face a suspension ranging from 2 to 4 years.
It's hard to imagine, but the contents of this bag are worth between 3 and 6 million euros. It's a Van Gogh painting that was stolen from a museum in the Netherlands 3 years ago. The man in this picture is Detective Arthur Brand, whom they call the Indiana Jones of the art world. He managed to recover the piece after he was contacted by a person who had access to it, but who says he had nothing to do with the theft.
It took 1,300 days. But here it is, and I will hand it over in a few moments to the museum director, and I think he will be happy.
The painting dates from the beginning of Van Gogh's career and was stolen from the Singer Museum in the city of Laren in March 2020, in the middle of the pandemic when the museum was closed. Both the perpetrator and the original recipient are now behind bars, and the painting has been returned to the museum.